is the next big pod.
Judge Emlini, score the contest, 112, 115. Judge Paul Thomas, 112, 115. Judge Donald Trella, 113, 115. The winner. And the new 113, 1. Champion of the world from Cambridge in Scotland, Ricky Bones. The dream comes true for Ricky Bones. A massive upset, a huge shot in the arm.
I laid out the blueprint. Yes, they gave him the decision. They gave him the fight. He beat me, but the blueprint is right there. Just look at it. I took it out of the vault and I handed it over to Canelo Alvarez.
Harrison's the biggest ball inside boxing. And the reaction to David Price after Golovkin calling me out on Junior. I'll fight David Price any day of the week. You see, you come from Liverpool. It's personal between me and you. I'm going to give you some serious hammy. It's stiff in you, okay? Alright, thanks a lot.
Well, brilliant, like I say, for centering himself those communities, and Amir Khan gets the big fight with Pacquiao and the world champions, the lads that are coming through. It'll be a fantastic. I'd equate this to the Kronk in America way back in the time.
You know what? Fuck Joe Gallagher. Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
I got him in the cage right now. Not the cage.
The plan is to have Algieri knock Pacquiao out.
Yes, but I still got him in the cage. He listens to me very well. I'm gonna let him loose.
Round 10?
Round 10 or 11. I'm gonna let him go.
Now I only have one other thing to do, and that's to fight Thomas Hearns. And I'm planning on breaking every bone in his body.
But what works is they're going to go and chase Leo Santa Cruz. I told them, and I told them on Wednesday, you're not going to get Santa Cruz. Like I told them, you're not going to get Martinez.
Now, coming to you live, the next big pod.
Hello and welcome back to the next big pod. Brian's back this week, fresh from crisis meetings with the Pope about nonsense in the Catholic Church. So I don't know if he wants to say something briefly on that before we move on to the boxing.
I've seen so many people when I was at the Sistine Chapel that I could have probably dragged into the confession box and absolutely fucking maul like a tiger. And they were your youngsters to one of the ones where, let's see if you absolutely beast at them, they would have probably thought that they were doing God's work, so they would have just accepted it. But oh Jesus, man, the Italians are lovely, miserable bastards right enough, but lovely.
How did you find it in Italy? Because I know in Vegas you was getting a bit annoyed with all the autograph requests you was getting. Because obviously with your IFL, you're pretty world famous, really. Did you have much trouble in Italy? Or?
No, not particularly, because the Italians are pure casual bastards, aren't they? And I'm only known to like hardcore helmets.
Yeah, that's really right. Anyway, right, moving on to we've got Dewey and Macho Grande as well on the call. Ainsley's not here, so we might get some positivity, but I doubt it. Right, Linares put on an absolute masterclass on the weekend. I don't really think going around getting people scorecards is necessary because there's just obviously no need for it. Linares is effortlessly good to me. As I've said before in here, he's the best I've seen live. And I'm kind of a bit gutted I didn't go to this one, even though it was a shit card. To see a masterclass that live, it'd just be a joy to watch, really. Dewey, do you want to jump in? You got any thoughts of it? You watched it delayed, didn't you? Because you was at some Welsh bum show.
Incorrect. I was at an amazing Welsh title fight that was over in 100 seconds.
Fuck Wilkes Ripper, dirty bastards.
Right, I've no idea what you just said, but I'll ignore it anyway. I watched from round. By the time I got home, it was in round 6, so I watched from round 6 onwards. And first and foremost, I've got to acknowledge that uppercut. I think it was in the 7th. That is what Linares' uppercut that dropped Crolla. It almost had like a delayed effect. it is one of the best punches I think I've ever seen. I wish I was there as well, you know, in person to see that. And what I found amazing about it, in the camera angle from behind Crolla, the way Linares throws it, he's completely relaxed. He's not tensed up at all. He's not loading up. And, you know, to think to get the torque he's got on it from, you know, dipping down so fast, I think it's just an amazing punch. And, you know, that was just one example of how good he was. He really is, you know, the mutt's nuts, isn't he? When you look at lightweight, the only fighter I think I'd pick to beat him would be Mikey Garcia. And, you know, I don't think that'd be a foregone conclusion if he could build up a lead. But, you know, that's, you know, we're talking about literally like, you know, the elite of the elite at lightweight, extremely skillful. You know, and he's not, we often see these skillful boxers and they stay on the front foot, you know, the whole time. Linares, you know, he might be on the back foot, but he's like an attacking back foot fighter. Really enjoyable to watch. I'm not disappointed in Crolla at all. But I would have, because I don't think whatever he would have tried would have worked. But I would have liked to see some sort of variation from his game plan in the first fight, and I don't think, you know, there really was any. And in the first fight, I had him losing like 9-3. I know he was closer on the cards, but you know, I'm not going to acknowledge them. But in the first fight, I had Crolla losing by 6 rounds. And in this fight, it only got wider, which is, you know, that's a little bit. That was the only disappointment really watching the fight.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. But the uppercut, if that was a few inches to the left or even an inch to the right, even, I think that would be game over if it caught flush on the chin.
It almost like glanced Crolla, didn't it? It didn't land completely.
Yeah, it hit him on the cheekbone. I think
it bounced off the side of his face. It was really weird, but that camera angle from behind. If you go on Instagram, you'll find it. It's amazing how as soon as he's thrown that shot, his arm goes completely limp, and it just shows he wasn't tensed up at all. He's so relaxed the way, you know, his reaction after he's landed the shot. It's you know, it's difficult to explain. I've not seen, you know, anything like that before.
It was so natural for him. Like you say, he was just completely relaxed after. Like, I've seen the video you were talking about because you put it in the WhatsApp chat, and that he's not, like you say, he's not tensed, he's not straining, he's not off balance. It's just like, I don't think you can teach that. I think that's just pure instinct.
Yeah,
he knew it was there, and he sort of took it.
The best way I can describe it is like, you know, someone with a bow and arrow. As soon as they fire it, you know, the string goes, you know, like really loose, doesn't it? It was just crazy. It's just a crazy punch. But you know, that was Linares dipping down onto his left leg to come back up with his left uppercut. That wasn't the only like really sublime way that his whole body is in, you know, complete uniformity, you know, like his arms and his legs. You see a lot of fighters, they might have good flashy combinations, but their legs stay completely still. Where Linares, everything is in coordination.
Well, I also like what he did in the early rounds. He was jabbing to the body a lot to try and bring that high guard down, and it wasn't really working.
There's not loads in it. It's not like you see some fighters, you know, with a good jab. Think like Mikhail Kessler, and it's a thudding ramrod jab. Linares is just enough. It's really, really quick, but it's like it completely disrupts you. He'll bring your guard down or put your guard up if he wants to, and you just know when he throws that jab, something else is coming behind it, but you can't prepare for what it is because there's so much variation in his arsenal.
Well, that's the key thing for me. Watching the first few rounds, the left hand of Linares is just unbelievable. I mean, the variations in that left hand, the jab to head to body, the double jab. He can turn the jab into a left hook, throws it left hook to the body, throws out that corkscrew uppercut as well into the body, and he bamboozled Crolla so much with the left hand and how he varies it and how he just touches the gloves, as you say, just to bring the guard down and fire to the body. He could land that right hand at will. I mean, he could have probably won that fight, no jokes, with his right hand tied behind his back. I can't remember seeing someone with such a fluid left hand and so many variations of it. I mean, the only criticism, I do have one criticism of Linares, is in the 7th round, and I said this to my missus when we was watching it, I hope he just doesn't coast from here. And after he got the knockdown in the 7th round, he seemed just to coast. I think it was the 9th round, he really hurt Crolla with a straight right hand, rocked him straight back onto the ropes, but didn't just go in for the kill. He just cruised home. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and that left hand was just different gravy. It was unbelievable, really, really good.
I think the Linares of old might have try and force the stoppage, but now he works around his limitations, if you know what I mean. With his chin, he doesn't take any more unnecessary risks than he has to. He
You've
just
got to
gets the
say,
job done and is happy to do it.
I don't think he's chinny. I just think that he marks up, and his skin may be not the toughest, but I don't necessarily think he's chinny.
Yeah, chinny might be a bit harsh, but you know what I mean. He can be hit and he can be hurt.
Yeah, maybe
So
maybe it's vulnerable, but you'd have to say like that is probably his only weakness, isn't it? Because even like you see these fighters who are really good at long range and they can't fight up close. Linares can. He's got just these little subtle variations where he dips, either side. He moves from his waist and it creates these angles, for the uppercuts and the hooks around the side. There was one clip, I think our old friend Shep might have posted it as a GIF on Twitter, where he lands.
2 right hands.
Yeah, it's a right uppercut, then a right hand on the side. And I think because he's so good at long range, people don't realise how good he is up close as well.
But what starts that? If you watch it again, it starts out with a jab. He just paws at the jab and Crolla kind of jumps at him and then he throws a right uppercut and a straight right hand after. Everything he did just come off that left hand. It was just fucking unreal. But just quickly on Crolla, I don't know about what you guys thought, but I mean, Crolla's getting a lot of credit, and yeah, he was game and he was fit and he showed heart. But I just think, I don't want to shit on him, but I just think that's the minimum requirement for a fighter at this level. He seems to be getting a lot of praise, but that's what he should be doing. At this level, you should stay fit and be brave.
I say this all the time on here, but I don't understand why nowadays it seems to be you get credit for just trying to win. I've never got that. It's a Billy Britt attitude in it, where we like a plucky loser. Like, I liken Crolla to Eddie the Eagle on Twitter. They're both likable guys, aren't they? But just not very good.
Well, I mean,
it's not.
Go on, sorry.
It's not even like a knock at Crolla really to say he's not as good as Linares, because Linares is one of the easily skips on skill alone. He's easily top 10 in the world.
Do you know how
without any doubt or hesitation? And Crolla not to compete with him. It's not a knock against him, but certain people they get funny about it. But I don't see why. It's just Linares is different gravy to what Crolla is. It's as simple as that, really. There's no need for them to say, oh, well, you can't slate Crolla. It's not slating him. It's just stating a fact. He's not as good as Linares.
What did this guy say? It was a brave points defeat or something, as opposed to, I think Alex tweeted it, a brave points defeat. But what it should have been really is a dominant performance. But yeah, I don't know. This is a thing with Matchroom. We probably won't get into it now, but they don't promote fights. They promote personalities, and that's what they're selling. They're not really selling Crolla's boxing ability. They're selling, oh, he got slabbed over the head. He's a really nice guy in Manchester. You've got to come out and support him. What a great guy he is and how much heart he showed. They don't promote the actual boxing that goes on. They just promote people. But is what it is. But I don't know. I know, Dewey, you said that you didn't think that Crolla could do anything different, which he probably couldn't done. But 24 rounds he shared with him, and
yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking, maybe
I completely agree. I don't think
step on the back foot, maybe. I don't know. Just try and let him draw. Spend a round, just coming backwards, maybe, and try and draw Linares on. Just try fucking something. But he did nothing. The same thing for 24 rounds.
I should have explained myself better. It's not that I don't think he could have tried anything different. I mean, I don't think anything he would have tried, I don't think it would have worked. But you'd rather try it and find out than keep doing the same thing and getting the same result. Just plod forward
with your hands up. And I don't know what it was just really, really bizarre. And just quickly on Joe Gallagher as well. I don't want to get all social justice warrior, but that last round, I'm a little bit raging because I had money on the stoppage. But I don't know what you guys think. But the referee, as soon as fucking Gallagher says, right, that's it, it's over, the referee should not be going over to Crolla and have a discussion. He should just be, right, get verification from the trainer. I'm calling the fight off. But he goes over, puts his hands on both their shoulders, has a chat. I'm sitting there fucking fuming because I've got money on his stoppage. And let's just say that Crolla gets hurt on that 12th round, or something happens. I thought that was really bizarre refereeing, actually. I don't know why he thought he'd go and have a chat with Crolla. I wasn't happy about that.
Well, we were saying this in the WhatsApp chat, and that's twice in recent memory that Gallagher's been overruled by a fighter, because Liam Smith overruled him and then got folded like a deck chair, didn't he?
Yeah, that shouldn't be allowed to happen. Once he says it's over, the referee shouldn't be up for discussion. If Gallagher says, or any trainer says, that's it, it's over, all they've got to do is double check to make sure they heard it right, because they don't want to be calling the fight off, like crossing their arms, if they haven't heard it properly, and that's it. But you shouldn't let a fighter, because the fighters are brave fuckers, aren't they? They want to fight to the end, unless you're Puerto Rican. But no, I just thought that was really bizarre. And if he got hurt or someone got hurt, there'd be boxing would be in a spot above it.
Dave, what was you saying then, mate? Before I interrupted you, sorry.
Rude bastard.
Yeah,
I can't remember what I was saying, Carl, but I completely agree with everything that's been said. This was Howard Foster is usually a referee who and I'm not just talking about the obvious example, George Groves, Carl Froch won, but Howard Foster has like a repeated history of ending fights a couple of punches too soon. So I was a little bit surprised to see him let it carry on. But I wasn't surprised to see Joe Gallagher overruled because, like you rightly say, I think it was after the second knockdown against Canelo, Joe Gallagher whispers something to Liam Smith in the corner that it's inaudible. You don't know what he says, but Liam Smith's reply gives it away, and he says, "Don't you dare." So, Gallagher's been overruled by his fighters in the corner before, and really, I don't even think you should be asking the question. I don't think he should have entertained a conversation with Crolla if he thought the fight should have been ended, if he thought he was taking too much punishment and he was in a fight that he couldn't possibly win, and it was detrimental to his health, which he must have thought all those things to try to end the fight, same as the Liam Smith fight, then he should have, called it off.
Does the Marcus Morrison fight before play a part in it? I mean, it was a bit bizarre because, as you just said, it was a fight he couldn't win, but he couldn't win after the first fight, you knew that Crolla couldn't win that second fight anyway. I know it's a bit extreme to not take the fight at all, but I don't know what he was trying to do in the 12th round and why he didn't pull Marcus Morrison out. I don't know whether that had something to do with it. It must have done. But I don't know, it might have been Gallagher just trying to make it all about him and put some heat on him and take some of the spotlight off Crolla because he must have known those cards were going to be wide as fuck. But, Crolla goes down even braver if Gallagher pulls him out and he's kind of like arguing against it. I don't know, but he was really bizarre. I don't know.
You could feign an injury, couldn't you? If Gallagher pulls them out, they could say they had an injury or something. So I suppose that might have been why. It's all about with them, and it's all about storylines, like you say. They fought 11 rounds with a damaged hand or something.
It's difficult with Gallagher though to know whether what he says is what he thinks, because like some of the stuff the guy comes out with earlier this week or last week, sorry. He said to BBC 5 Live, words to the effect of the commentators were biased against Anthony Crolla in the first Linares fight. Anyone who can go back and watch that fight on YouTube or on the Sky Sports app, wherever, can see that there was actually the polar opposite. The commentary, apart from Paulie Malignaggi, gave Crolla a hell of a lot of praise for trying to win, even though he wasn't, winning. I had him winning 3 rounds, and so did most people. So it's difficult to know whether Gallagher believes what he said to 5 Live, and he believed the first fight was a close fight. If so, if he genuinely believes that, and you got to take him for his word, then it shows that his ability to read fights may be a little, maybe he's too close to the situation, and maybe his reading of fights is a little off. Then that leads me to thinking the only way he could have let Marcus Morrison continue is if he thought he was in with a chance of winning. He might have thought... Well,
he did. He did think he was, because he said in that 12th round, he said, you need to go out and win this round.
Well, see, I thought...
That's what I'm talking about. And he scored it. Let's think from Joe Gallagher's viewpoint. Marcus Morrison got a knockdown, so he got 2 points for the second round, and he was a Manchester fighter, pretty much a matchroom fighter as well, fighting at the Manchester Arena on Sky Sports with Jason Wellborn. I don't think he's ever fought on Sky Sports.
Yeah, he has. He fought Macklin on Sky Sports.
Oh, of course. Well, there you go. One fight, again, in the away corner. So Gallagher might have been thinking of the outside the ring politics that would have enabled Marcus Morrison maybe to get something he didn't deserve. But that wasn't the case. He was so far behind. This guy lost like pretty much every round after the 4th round, I think. There's no way you could have had him possibly winning. So, maybe it shows that Gallagher just read fights wrong.
Well, I pumped some money on the draw because I was a bit like you, Drew. I was thinking he's got a 10-8 round. Maybe if they gave him the first, and maybe if somehow he gets, I don't know, around 7 or 8, just one of those rounds in there, maybe if he came out and won the last round, he might nick something. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do we think if Quigg's gone, as Crolla's been schooled twice now, if Liam Smith loses against Williams, what's it, next week? I mean, do we think we might see a bit of an exodus from Gallagher, especially after the beating Mark Morrison as well?
I tweeted, as did many other people, that if Liam Smith loses, then Professor Crustinet gets beat. That's him pretty much done, I think. I can't see him picking up any other, because all his prospects are shit as well. Burton got smashed, didn't he? Off Buglioni.
Yeah, it was a good fight, that was.
Morrison just got his shit pushed in.
What weight is he?
Crolla's been schooled twice.
Did he must see the weigh-in? Did he make?
What, Burton?
No, not Burton. Did Morrison actually make 160?
He looks a big old boy, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, literally the weigh-in.
on the line, wasn't it?
But then Wellborn's fought a welterweight getting beat off Frankie Gavin. So there we go. He's just small in comparison. Did any of you, or Brian, are you there yet?
Copy. Just a quick note. I've got to say hats off to Jason Wellborn because he slipped up against William Warburton last year, which is no shame in doing that. A lot of fighters have done it. We all know William Warburton is a lot better than his record, but William Warburton's got like 108 losses or 109 after the weekend. And Jason Wellborn slipped up there and came back to win on Sky in the away corner. So fair play to him.
Yeah, he's linked up with Macklin, isn't he? MTK or MGM, whatever the fuck they're called now.
Yeah.
Big fans of MTK Global, by the way, if you're listening.
Yeah. Big respect.
Absolutely.
Brian, are you there yet or not? Or are you still fiddling with your dogs? Still fiddling with his dogs. All right. What did he say?
I think Brian said he was going to pick him up off Joe. I didn't ask which Joe that was.
Was there a Brian Rose, Jack Orenfield? I didn't watch any of this because tell a lie. I watched the first round, figured out it was going to be shit, which we all knew anyway, and just turned it over. Did any of you watch this, Macho? You're a sad cunt. You watched most things, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched it. It was terrible. I actually put some money on Armfield on just for stoppage. I was hoping that Brian Rose's nose would just explode over his face and it'd get called off. So I was kind of watching it to the bitter end, just waiting for the nose to go. But yeah, it was pretty awful. I can't know that Jack Armfield. He's all right, but I don't know. You just want to sort of step on his toe or just fire a rocket up his arse. He seems to have a lot more in the tank, but he's kind of really like one paced. It was a terrible fight. It was really boring. I think Brian Rose is done there, but I'm not sure how far Armfield could go with like that lack of pop and just kind of his lack of work rate. Really, don't know if Dewey saw it.
No, I've not seen it, and I don't intend to. It sounds like it was exactly the type of fight everyone expected. But
yeah,
exactly that. I had a lot of respect for Armfield when he came in on like 8 days' notice to fight Nick Blackwell, and he got dropped. But Blackwell isn't, he's not Golovkin, but that's some challenge to take that on. With 8 days' notice, and he went the 12-round distance as well. And he's with Michael Jennings, who. I met Michael Jennings for a university project years and years ago, and really technical, really interesting way talker. So I'm quite interested in seeing where he goes as a trainer. And he seems Go on.
Was you in Bristol for that fight? Did you come down for that?
No, I didn't.
You say it was on 8 days' notice, and he must have brought at least 200-300 people with him. There was a shitload of Blackpool fans in there.
That's a fair old distance, isn't it? Blackpool to Bristol is about 2 miles.
I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie would sign him up, because he could. Again, he's just a reasonably big ticket seller on an undercard.
He is, but how do you promote him? Because again, it's as I mentioned before. Like if you look at where Matchroom are going at the minute, they're promoting personalities. Look what Dave Allen, for example. Big fan of Dave Allen. I know he's a friend of the show, but that's a guy that Hearn completely fed to the wolves. And now he's got a bit of a cult following. He's turned it into like a reality TV. Look, if we can send this guy to make this guy win a British title, follow the journey. I just don't really know where someone like an Armfield would really fit into that stable. I'd be quite surprised if he actually signed him to a proper promotional deal.
Well, he was on the ITV show, wasn't he, in February? So, a bit of a quick turnaround for him. He's probably best staying as a free agent for the time being because
I think so as well.
If he sells tickets, he pays for himself. He's got a little bit of momentum, a couple of good wins. Imagine if he's not mandatory for a British title, he'll be put in some sort of eliminator. And against someone like Tommy Langford, I know he's got another fight to look at, but against someone like Tommy Langford, you'd give him a bit of a chance, wouldn't you? Like maybe 60-40?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been impressed by Langford, especially against Sheedy, the last fight he had. Anyone watch Katie Taylor? Dave, you didn't, obviously. But I did watch this, and I don't see what all the fuss is about. She's obviously good, but she gets hit an awful lot. And the only reason I watch it is not because I enjoy watching it, but because when she loses, if she loses, I want to make sure I witness it, because that'll be a good day, that. Did you watch it, mate?
I was kind of in and out, and not because I'm opposed to women's boxing, but I was kind of a bit drained after, from the fight before. But I mean, it's difficult because you just have no idea how good these birds are that she's fighting.
Exactly.
So you've got no idea how good she is, because these could all be like Latvian cab drivers, or these could be elite, like, in male terms, like fringe, I don't know, world level, gatekeeper level. I just got no idea. So I kind of watch him thinking, yeah, she looks good. She can put her punches together quite well. She fundamentally, she looks decent. As you say, she ships a few too many shots, and I don't think she's got the power that they like to make out that she's got. But it's really difficult to tell if she's any good or not, just because we just don't know the caliber of opposition. And we're probably never going to know. And even if they stick her in a world title fight, I just will never have a clue. So I don't really know how to gauge it.
I know 3 female boxers: that Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor, and that Cecilia Breakus. That I think she's German or something.
Nicola Adams.
Yeah, that's true. 4. But other than that, that's my limited knowledge of female boxing, as I assume most of yours is as well. Other than Rocco, who joins us, who's a big female boxing fan.
There's actually
Terry?
From Evervale, who's genuinely not bad.
Well, Matcha, what you said about personalities, and I thought this after when they did the little ringside interview with her after. She's wooden as fuck, man. She's got literally no personality at all. Every time someone sticks a microphone in her face, it looks like she don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
whether to talk or cry.
No, I've noticed that. This is why Hearn always jumps in front of it when he can.
And I'm a big MMA casual, but obviously you see Rousey on chat shows and that. She's got quite a nice personality. She scrubs up all right. And Katie Taylor ain't none of them things. So when they say, like, as cynical as it is, like, if you're going to be a female athlete, it helps to be if you're good looking, doesn't it? You get the blokes behind you. And she fucking ain't that.
It does, but the reason how they get around that is, she hasn't got a great personality and she's massively wooden. But I've mentioned this before, like a couple of months ago on the show, that this is more about Hearn saying what a progressive man I am, what a progressive brand that we promote, and look at women's boxing. She's great. I mean, Andy Lee said it in that article that's gone around Twitter today. I mean, listen to the commentary and you are not watching what the commentary are telling you. There's a clear story, there's a clear narrative, and they're almost driving through the fact that she's got no personality. And they're just selling you something that it don't seem to be there. But this is not just about her. This is also about women's boxing, about her trying to make out that, look how great I am. But I did find it interesting that Hearn saying he passed up on Conlon, and because he's not interested in the Irish market, yet he's got Katie Taylor and wants a world title.
That made me chuckle that as well.
That's fucking mental. He's such an egotistical prick, isn't he?
You think he would be interested in the Irish market, though, just because Katie Taylor is massive in Ireland?
Well, he is interested, but he just couldn't handle the fact that he didn't sign contract.
Yeah, of course. But, like, you think they'd want to take her to Ireland because the crowd seemed a little bit bored with her on the weekend. I've seen the highlights on Sky app, and they didn't, she's not really, she's like a novelty act over here, whereas if they take her to Ireland, she could headline the show.
Yeah, but this is like the old wrestling trick. It's about the slow exposure to that audience. If they take her straight to Ireland straight away, and as you said, I think people give it a go first off, but then after a few fights, everyone's like, well, actually, this ain't that great. But I think if they just keep her away from Ireland, when they do finally go there, they can promote the shit out of that, and it'll probably be the world title that they take there. But at the minute, this is just about introducing her to the audience, just getting people comfortable and familiar with women's boxing before they go over there. Because I think if they took her over there to start with, when it comes to trying to sell that world title, they probably might struggle because people lose interest. But Hearn will do what he always does. He'll say to he'll put on the Irish people's heartstrings. You've got to come out. You've got to support your own. You've got to support women's boxing. If you're not supporting women's boxing, you're some fucking Neanderthal sexist pig. And he'll be pushing that card, and it will sell big in Ireland. But they actually, if I was promoting her, I'd be like, keep her away for the time being. Let them want to see her, then send her over there.
Yeah, that's a good show. When I was at that Casual Fest, Pay Value, which he fought on that, and literally no one watched that. Not one person who was stood around me was paying any interest to it. It was all either playing on their phones or dancing or doing whatever it is they do. But no fuck was watching it. Because, like you say, it's just not that entertaining at the end of the day.
Yeah, they probably need to. What he probably needs to do is probably pick up a few more women fighters and maybe put a few more of these people on, or these birds on these shows, and just try and get people to have an understanding of the opponents, and that might help a bit more. But when they're just chucking her in against some lesbo that you ain't got a clue who she is, no one really cares. But everyone's kind of waiting for that world title fight, isn't they? That's what we're waiting for. We're just sitting around waiting for her to win a world title. Everything else in between, we couldn't give a shit.
What was you saying, Dave?
I was just going to say the pool of talent to choose from is so shallow. Like it's in the amateurs, it's a bit shallow, but it's a lot deeper in the amateurs than there is in the pros at the moment. And that's why I remember the lady who Katie Taylor fought in her second fight. She looked like she was, she'd just been going to boxercise class. They will struggle to build her up, which is why, she could fight for a world title in her next fight and be just as prepared as if she had another 5 or 6 fights.
Do you think female boxing needs a few more Olympic cycles before it properly catches fire then?
Well, yeah,
so the talent's good enough to entertain people,
doesn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like a few more Olympic cycles, a few more will get involved.
Yeah, I know. Like we've had like Christy Martin and everything in the past, but what we've got to consider, you've got to treat it like a new, like quite literally like a new sport. It needs time to grow before we can really judge it properly.
Yeah,
because at the moment there's a very small pool of people involved.
I've seen someone tweet it was like a long thread of someone was slagging off Katie Taylor or whatever, and then people was defending her, and then someone said, "Oh, well, she's going to make women's boxing mainstream," and then someone said, "I thought this was actually a really good point. Like Ali's daughter and Fraser's daughter couldn't do it, could they? And that's like two of the biggest names of all time with a rivalry of themselves."
Well, Carper, you made a really good point about her personality, because how many women boxers are watching her and are really kind of fucking inspired by her and go, "Oh, mate, she's amazing. I want to go and do it." All they're actually seeing is because she can't sell shit and she's not kind of jumping out the screen when there's a mic in her face or when she's getting interviewed. You don't look at her and think, "Oh, she's a nice person," or "She's quite an engaging character." So I don't think she's going to be like the trailblazer that they think, just unfortunately because she can't sell for shit.
I mean, this might be the case, but it sounds like her balls are dropping in some interviews, man. She's got the squeakiest fuck voice every now and then.
Yeah. How old is she?
She ain't young, but she ain't old at the same time. You know what I mean? She must be late 20s. Let's have a look.
Yeah, she must be.
Terry, are you there, mate? Do you want to say anything? Because you're just lurking in the background.
Ernell having a Facebook spat with a women opponent to sell it, because that's what women like. Towie,
hey, she's 30.
Slept with my boyfriend and all that. So they'll have a Facebook spat, you kiss my boyfriend, I'm coming for you, I'm going to beat you up. I couldn't give a shit about women's boxing. Like you, Carpi, I only know a few. The ones you missed out, what's her name? Layla Ali, Kelly Pavlik. There was another one. I can't remember. Oh, no, it's like you say, you're all right. She's going to... I did something. Was it that Savannah Marshall she beat in the Olympics on the way to the thing?
No.
Sure.
She's
Jonas.
Right, okay. Well, it's her then. And as free, I always know as Adams, Marshall and Jonas. And I'm sure I read the other day that she's now thinking, but she's obviously seen the...
she's retired.
Signs, because, as you said, no one knows any of these birds she's fighting. So if that Natasha Jonas says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go professional now," and fights her on one of these bills, she's in line. Is she
the fit one that does a bit of commentary, Scousebird?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yeah, she's alright. She
was in the crowd, like front row, or whatever. They panned to her.
Oh, well,
she's got a bit about her. She's got a bit about her, that one.
Well, you couldn't have less about it than Katie Taylor, let's put it that way. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this for too long because there is not a lot to talk about in it, really. Let's move on to Friday night. And we had Josh Taylor versus Joubert, who I thought was French, but is actually South African. Again, I don't really know what to think of Josh Taylor. He's obviously very talented. He gets hit a lot. He's fighting people he's clearly better than. So I've not got really a lot to add. It was a straightforward fight by the cut. I think the cut accelerated things. They told him to get him out of there quick, and he was pulled at in the end. Any of you got anything to add? Anyone enjoy the fight or see the undercard?
Well, I quite like Josh Taylor, actually. I mentioned before we went on air that he doesn't fight like a normal British fighter. For someone with 9 fights, his foot movement is really impressive, and also it's little things he does. He blocks body shots with one hand and fires back with the same. He'll block a body shot with the left hand and fire back with it. I do think he's decent, and it was almost like a David Hay McNarelli type of fight. Not McNarelli. Who was the Italian guy that he fought?
Fragamini.
Fragamini, yeah, you'll call it. It was that kind of fight, you know. First time he got cut, with a solid, durable opponent, and it was the same for Josh Taylor. Actually, I thought it was quite a good performance, and I do think they're bringing him on quite nicely. I mean, I didn't know nothing about the guy that he was fighting. Don't know what his record was. He had 40 odd fights, something like that. Seemed like a decent enough opponent, but yeah, it's difficult to tell how good Josh Taylor is until he steps up. But I just want them to make the O'Hara Davis fight. And Hearn said in a recent interview that they're going to make an offer to Josh Taylor this year for that fight. So hopefully we get to see that sooner rather than later.
Dewey, did you watch it, mate? You're on mute if you're trying to speak. Oh, he's not there either. Brian's not here. Dave's not here now. Any news happened recently? Because I can't think of nothing.
Well, yeah, there was something that happened. Oh, I don't know. It's Kell Brook. That's been done now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Sheffield. That was last Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or Wednesday they had the press conference. What early predictions then? Where are you going with that?
Spence stoppage.
You reckon so?
Yes.
I think it's quite a difficult one to call. I think that a lot of it, how much did that Golovkin fight take out of Brook, and how well can he make 147 again? So I think it's difficult. I would probably pick Brook if I didn't have those concerns about the beating he took from Golovkin and just making the weight again. I just don't see how he can make that weight even remotely well. So I'd probably be edging towards Spence. But again, we don't really know how good Spence is. And I guess you could say the same for Kell Brook, really. We don't really know how good he is. But for me, it's the weight and what it's going to take out of him. And what's his name? Spence is quite a good body puncher as well. And I think that's going to be a real key factor to the fight in terms of where it goes and who's best to the body, I think. What do you think, Carpy?
I'm the same as you. If you look at it a skill level, I think they're pretty evenly matched. We've seen more of Brook, obviously, because he's been around longer and he's fought a slightly better opposition. But when you take all things into it, when Brook's got that big weight cut again and he is a fat fucker in between fights, how much is it going to take out of him getting back down to 147? Can he do it healthily? Then he's got the rehydration limit with the IBF. Which he can't bin off. Yeah, they can't get rid of that. And if he does, then he loses the title on the scales. Yeah. I would probably, and I'm probably going to pick Spence, but not confidently at all. If Brook was to beat him, I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest. Because we don't know what Spence's chin is like, do we? He's been wobbled before, I think, if I remember rightly. He has been wobbled. I think Shep was posting that clip around at the end of a round. Right at the end, he got hit, I think, with a right hand, and he done a little bit of a chicken dance. So we don't know how good he is, and also don't like to say it, but coming to Sheffield, I don't know if they're going to fill it or not, but that's an environment he's not going to be in before. He might, who knows, he might get nervous, might get a bit of stage fright, but for me, as you said, it's all about the weight and how well he does it. I don't think these young lads, I don't think they come over and they get overruled by the atmosphere. I can't really remember.
Can't be. I think a telltale sign of who you'd rather be in this fight was, I thought, the press conference, because Brook and Dominic Ingle did everything they could to minimise Errol Spence and what he does. What I actually thought Errol Spence and his trainer were quite complimentary of Kell Brook, apart from the Golovkin fight, which they saw no reason for that being mentioned, and I didn't really see it. That was brilliant. The way Spence said to him, like, you're just hyping up your whole career off 2 rounds against Golovkin. I thought that was brilliant. Yeah, but apart from that, they gave Brook a lot of credit. I think that Brook was very defensive for a reason, where Spence, I think he's seemed a lot more comfortable, and the reasons for that is because I think he sees this as a massive opportunity to gate crash things, where Kell Brook is facing, even though we've seen Spence in like 20 fights now, he's still relatively unknown.
Well, if you look at his opposition, the Algieri fight, he banged him out. Bundu, he banged him out. And didn't necessarily struggle with Algieri, but he didn't light up the room. Thurman, again, didn't struggle with Bundu, but it didn't light up the room. And Spence banged both of them out with relative ease. So I don't know if that puts him above where you'd rank them at the time. I hate prospects and that when they step up, because you never know how good they are. You never know whether to go balls deep on them or
he's had better
like
steps.
air with a side of caution.
If you want to gauge it, Carp, he's had better steps up than Kell Brook had, who got his world title shot by fighting Hector Saldavia and Carson Jones 5 million times.
I think Spence only had 18 fights. I think it's 18 fights, and so he's way further ahead than where Brook was at 18 fights.
21 and 18 knockouts.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? All right.
Right, Brian, now you're back. Do you want to talk about Crolla? Because we've pretty much exhausted what we was here for. We haven't roasted Gallagher because I thought we'd leave that for you.
Right, cool. Right. I was one of the most vocal people when it came to this rematch. I says there was absolutely no need for it, and what I thought it was just a cynical ploy for Hearn, because what we didn't hear for the first fight is there's a rematch clause in here. We didn't hear this at all until the scorecards were announced, and all of a sudden there's a rematch clause put in there, and Eric Gomez. It's Eric Gomez, isn't it?
Yeah.
The guy. No, that's not Eric.
That is Eric.
Robert Diaz. Robert Diaz.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's not Gomez. Yeah.
He basically says, "Aye, there's a rematch clause," but nobody mentioned this. I just thought it was opportunistic for a lot of them. Just basically, Crolla not want to fight anybody else. Hearn backed into a corner because Flanagan was wanting to fight him, and basically Linares thinking, well, I don't particularly want to go and fight Mikey Garcia or Zlaticarin. I've already beat this bum. I can take the fight again and I can beat him again. And this is what it was. What's that?
For more money as well.
Exactly. What we found out as well is Hearn overpaid Crolla the first time around because of the amount of money that Frank Ward offered for the Flanagan fight. So he deliberately overpaid his guy not to fight somebody. I think it's a fucking shitty move. A lot of people will turn around and say, it was good to have Linares over here to see him live, which is true. That is true, but at the same time, everybody wanted to see Flanagan and Crolla because it was two guys from Manchester with world titles. You're never going to get that. Now we're in the position here, and I tweeted it before the fight. We're in the position now that if Crolla loses, the Flanagan fight is absolutely fucking pointless, and if Crolla wins, the Flanagan fight never ever happens. The only way they two are going to fight now is if Flanagan loses next month, where the two of them have got nowhere to go, and they'll just make a fight.
Didn't Hearn say he wants £1 million for that fight for Crolla?
Hearn's a fucking spastic bastard. I can't wait till somebody actually fucking bombs him and kills him. But the fight in general, just basically, long story short, there was no fucking point in having that rematch. I didn't want it. I didn't want it. I wanted Linares to. I'm the same with Ricky Burns. Unless you're going to fight like the best possible guys, I'm not really interested. Crolla, he is what he is. I'd say he's fucking European level. He's not world. I know people turn around and say, you're world class if you fight for world belts, and he's won one. But he's European class. That is about it. He's a bit like in Ricky Burns, where he's overexcelled in what he actually had. Like he should have never basically got as far as he did on the sort of talent and that there or thereabouts where he's got. So I should actually like Crolla, but the fact that he's training us an absolute ball bag, I fucking took great pleasure in Crolla stinking the fucking joint out. But the fight Saturday, it was just a wank fest, wasn't it? Linares was punch perfect. I noticed at one point he deliberately feinted for Crolla to throw his fucking punch, and for him to kind of counter that with a left hook, and he deliberately done it, and you could see what he was trying to do. It was so obvious what he was trying to do. Crolla had absolutely no answer there. And what I found was the game plan was even worse this time around than last time. I'm not saying Linares wasn't any better, but they knew what Linares was bringing to the table, and they done absolutely nothing to counter that. I mean, they can basically turn around and say, Linares... Have you noticed now that Linares is pound for pound? And they done this with Golovkin. They shat on Golovkin when he signed to fight fucking Kell Brook. And as soon as Golovkin stops him, Golovkin's like pound for pound number one. Not one person fucking thought Golovkin was pound for pound number one. But all of a sudden now Linares is like this top 10 pound for pound. He's fucking not. Talent-wise, he maybe is. Let's see if you take out all the bullshit resumes and stuff. Let's see if you're looking at like talent, like Lomachenko, Linares. No, he probably is. But that's not the way we like do it, like pound for pound. But anyway, it just the thing with Linares, it just does everything like, so naturally that it's not as if like the way he throws punches, it's as if like he's not trained for it. It's just as if, you know how when you watch Messi, it just looks like he was born like that. He was just talented. When you watch like Ronaldo, and you know he's fucking absolutely grafted like fuck to get the way where he is. It just looks like Linares. He was born that fucking talented, and there was absolutely no effort whatsoever throwing the punches. You know how when you watch Federer, it looks as if he never ever fucking breaks sweat doing what he's doing because he's always in the right position to hit the ball. No, I was like Linares at the weekend. Just everything was just so easy for him. It was fucking great. Like he would make Crolla miss punches. He would throw a combination 3-4 punches, and I don't really like looking at punch stats, but I dare say his must be quite high because he couldn't fucking miss the target. But the thing with one thing with Crolla was he had absolutely no game plan. See, once he get put in his arse, his game plan get even worse. What it was is he was just deliberately bombing forward, and he had his like guard down a bit like that when he was coming forward. But see, as soon as he get close enough to Linares, he put his guard up and he wouldn't throw punches. Then he would eventually try to do that left hook to the body. Now, I can remember like Gallagher getting loads of praise 2 years ago and saying that he's reborn because he had this reputation as basically only be able to train boxers the one way. And I can't remember the interview that this was. I don't know, maybe it was like one of the Powder Puff Sky things where he was like, oh, he's rejuvenated himself, he's come back. I don't know where the fuck he disappeared to. He should have maybe just hung himself, but that's exactly what he's doing here. It's exactly what he's fucking doing here. Like we've seen that Cardo was a boxer, and bit by bit he's broke that down, and Cardo's just basically turned into a brawler. The guy's just coming forward. Quig, I don't need to slack him. The guy's a Lego eating Mongo bastard. I'm telling you, like Spotty Smith, he's bang on the same. Liam Smith, fuck, we know that he is like a robot. Paul Smith, you know, for as much as we pound Paul Smith, and we do like it because he's a big fat mess. He does try to box. He's more a boxer than he is this fucking mad brawler. Like, I was surprised. I seen you watch like the Abraham fights. He was trying to box more. He looked a kind of smoother boxer in there, but Joe Gallagher's an absolute fucking abomination. There was absolutely no tactics in there whatsoever. Like trying to tell like Crolla what to do. And
right.
if you're an intelligent boxer, you'll try and change it yourself. If your corner isn't doing it, and maybe they'll turn and say, "Aye, Linares was that good. He had no options what to do."
Right.
Brian, your tactic isn't just fucking coming forward and trying to get this one punch. He's not a big puncher, so see this like them trying to make out, you know how like Golovkin like kind of cuts off the ring and all that, and he just looks for that one power punch. Crolla's not that, so his tactics were fucking shit. I'm beginning to get raging now just thinking about this. Crolla's a fucking bum, an absolute mank bastard bum. I know, Josh Woods, if you're fucking watching this, know that your boy's an absolute fucking lesbian. Fucking bam. Absolutely fucking shite.
Macho, what were you trying to say then?
So I was just going to ask Brian a question. I mentioned this like briefly before. If I know we don't like Eddie Hearn, but if you're Eddie Hearn now and you're looking at Joe's stable just crumbling and falling apart and taking L's left, right, and centre, how worried are you about Callum Smith? And when he fights Dirrell, I mean, are you? If you're Hearn now, are you getting in Callum's ear saying, this might not be a good move to stay with Joey? You might want to get yourself somewhere else, or are you just riding it out? What are you doing?
They're really fucking friendly with the guy. It's as if
I don't think Hearn likes him, to be fair.
Well, I tell you what, I think Hearn fucking bends over and takes up the arse for Gallagher. You know how people turn around and say Hearn's the most powerful guy in boxing? Like maybe he is like financially wise, but I'm telling you, Joe Gallagher tells him what to fucking do. And that's not the way a promoter's supposed to work. I can't remember who it was I was having a conversation with the other day. Like, they basically say to me they think Hearn is too friendly with the fighters and tries to be too fucking pally with them and doesn't want to rock the boat. Where there's Bob Arum example, like, just say like Joe Gallagher, I want to make Paul Smith, Martin Murray, and they're like, no, I'm only taking that fight if it's for a world title. Bob Arum would be like, listen, I'm the fucking promoter, I've got the TV deal, you take the fighter, I'll fucking bench you and you'll no fucking get on telly at all. That's what Hearn does not do that.
No, he doesn't. But Hearn's comments at the beginning of the year about no more big money for easy 10-rounders, no more 8-rounders, warm-up fights. Those comments at the beginning of the year were massively aimed at Gallagher, and I think as well that he doesn't have the weight that he once had. When he had that stable and Sky was blowing smoke up their asses, he had the 3 world champions. I think at the start of this year, Hearn gave numerous interviews, and it was quite clear he was talking about Gallagher, and now he's kind of lost. I mean, you know, we've been saying this for a couple of years that he's absolute fucking garbage, but he's lost a lot of that fucking weight that he had, and I do wonder whether we might start to see. I wouldn't be shocked if Hearn's getting in Callum's ear saying, "Look, mate, because they can't take another L. Really, he's fucked. If Callum loses, he's done for."
But I like to slag him like everybody else, right? But I don't particularly think that the bid he put in for that Darrell fight was a bad bid.
That was a good bid.
I actually think that Hearn actually overbid because Callum Smith isn't out in Liverpool. David Price is the biggest seller. Then it was Bellew. The Smiths don't fucking sell. They just don't, you know. And Anthony Darrell, whatever. So I thought that Hearn actually overbid for that fight in the fucking first place. So I can't even get to slag him for that. But
Brian, it would have been £1 million on the main event, right? And that's before. I know they get whatever they get off Sky, but you know they'll be lucky. They'll probably get 1/10 of that off Sky. So everything else has got to be made up by ticket sales. The 10,000 in the Echo wouldn't pay, you know, the purses and the undercard. So they'd have to stick it at somewhere like Anfield. They'd have to pay a lot of money for Anfield. No, sure they wouldn't put that on pay-per-view.
That would have been pay-per-view. That would have been pay-per-view, I think.
No way.
Definitely.
I thought that, I'm not saying that it can't happen. If I was Hearn, I would be going and saying like Heyman and Darrell. I don't know how the split works. Is it like 45-45? Because it's like
it'll be most governing bodies. If it's a vacant title, whoever travels will get 55, and the other person will get 45.
No, it's not. It's like the WBC hold back 10% for the winner. So it's. What is that, 50-40 with 10% to the winner or something like that? Then something like that. If I was Hearn, I would do what Bob Arum done with Abraham for Ramirez. Offer him more money to go and travel there. Stick it on the Brook undercard, and then you've got a fucking stack card, and then you've got your pay-per-view. But that sounds too logical, and I don't think Hearn doesn't like spending money. I actually think Hearn's a tight bastard when it comes to it. I've been told plenty of people that actually Warren pays more than fucking Eddie Hearn does, but when you've got this guy deal, anyway, we're kind of going off topic here. Crolla.
Moving up to 140, isn't he? Or what? Sorry, yeah, he's moving up to fight Burns, is he, or something? I heard today that.
Crolla's not even a fucking lightweight. That's the thing. Crolla is not a lightweight. The only reason he's a lightweight is because he's full of steroids.
That's what they do when they normally lose. Get a new tattoo, move up in weight.
That's how Ricky Burns will get about 40. I mean, if he went up to the only way he goes up to 140 is because Hearn's playing the long game here. He's basically saying if Burns wins against Ndongo next month, I'm either going to try and offer him the Crolla fight, which I'd lose the fucking rag, or he fights Crawford. Crawford beats Burns at the end of the year. Crawford moves up to 147 and vacates all the belts, and then I've got a couple of guys that can just start trying to fucking bite away at them like Pac-Man. I think that's what Hearn done. Like Hearn's openly admitted, turn around saying I'm going to try and manoeuvre like an easy title shot. There is none at 135. 135 is absolutely fucking stacked.
He said manufactured, didn't he?
We talk on
manufacture another title shot.
What's that?
He said I can possibly manufacture Crolla another title shot.
How are you going to do that at 140?
Are you in the bath or something, Carl? Because you sound really quiet.
Hold on. Any better?
Yeah.
Aye.
Bit better.
Hey, what are you saying?
Huh?
None. Right, so it's like stacked at 135, so I don't think Crolla's got anywhere to go. He's like another person that he's a bit
Well,
like
Frank just tweeted from the Box Nation account that they want to fight winners, not losers. So their Crolla fight's dead.
Which that's scandalous, really. You've got a Manchester City fan, a Man United fan. Did they go to the same school or something?
Aye.
From the same area.
They did.
And they both got world titles, and they didn't fight each other. That's scandalous.
Frank tried making it. Eddie didn't want nothing to do with it.
You can't blame Warren for this one.
right.
No, that's what I said. Frank tried making it. Eddie wasn't interested.
But I think
Hey, Brian, because you didn't come on last week, do you want to talk about Golovkin?
give us 2 seconds. I think with Crolla, it's a lot. It's like a lot of people in here unstable. See, unless they've got a belt, they're fucking totally irrelevant. I don't think Crolla's irrelevant. I was actually surprised how little. I'm not little's a different wrong word, but I was surprised at the crowd on Saturday. It was loud. Don't get me wrong, it was fucking loud. But I don't know if Matchroom Day's on with their microphones. Because like, there could be like 2 people in an arena at Matchroom fighting. It sounds as if it's like fucking carnage. I thought Crolla would have sold more than that. So, and he's got a cheek to turn around saying he's the biggest seller out with Femi. It's just fucking usual like bullshit. But I think like a lot of people under here, without a belt, nobody really gives a fuck. And what I've said this a few times, and I'm going to say it again. Hearn's a cunt. And see if you look at like Hearn's stable coming through, the ones that he's actually got like for the beginning and goingwards, I think his stable's absolutely fucking terrible. Like I think see once the people that he got for other promoters, see once they fucking leaving it, I can see Hearn in a bad way. Other than Femi, his stable isn't that good. It really isn't. And you look at the undercards, the guys are absolutely fucking garbage.
Yeah, we said this before you was there. It's not about the fighters. He doesn't promote fighters. He promotes personalities and he promotes stories. So he doesn't necessarily need fighters. He just needs people like look at O'Hara Davis. He just needs fucking idiots. He doesn't need fighters, good fighters.
See, this O'Hara Davis thing's a bit of a myth here because he's not headlining his own shows, so we don't even know if he is fucking popular at all, or it's just he's based at all. But
Brian, he will not sell tickets. I'd be amazed if he sold 100 tickets.
Where's he fee? Where's he fee?
Hackney. Tell
me how many London boxers actually have a massive fan base. It's a hard fucking place to sell tickets.
Yeah.
Kevin,
he's not. I don't think he's going to be headlining anything. He's not headlining anything. He's pay-per-view fodder, isn't he? For the next couple of years. That's what he is. And if you think about it, 2 fights ago or 3 fights ago, he was in untelevised fights at the fucking York Hall, and now he's like chief support for these pay-per-views. And if you look at what they're doing now with him, it's like, oh, he stepped up to Floyd Mayweather. He's cocky. He's this. He's that. Everyone hates him. Everyone's got an opinion of him. So they're not actually telling you that this guy's a good fighter. Watch him. They're just saying to you he's a fucking prick, and everyone knows him because he's a massive bellend. But watch him. They're not. If you look at, and this is a thing with like, if you look at BT and Box Nation, look at that card next week with Liam Williams and Liam Smith and that. They're not promoting any personalities there. They're promoting this is a really good card. This is good fights. But the casuals, all they want to know is, do these people dislike each other? What's their banter like? And do they like football? And Warren don't go down that route. And this is what Hearn's doing. So I agree with you, Brian. He doesn't have a great stable, but I don't think the way he promotes, he needs a good stable. He just needs decent personalities, or supposed personalities.
See before I go into kind of Golovkin, like Leon, like messaged like me and Cap this morning. Like this is like Joe Gallagher's list that he's made. He put the top 10 like wins that they've got. Like number 1's like Crolla beating Barroso, right? And I can't take that away from Crolla. Basically, I picked Barroso to knock him out on the. Who the fuck's eating?
Sorry, that's me. Some peanuts. I'll just mute myself.
Backbeat bastard. I can't take the Barroso fight away from him because we all thought that Crolla was going to get knocked out. After that, it's Crolla versus what? Did you pick Crolla, take it? No. Right, Crolla Perez, right? Then there's Quigg v Kiko, and Kiko was fucked by that point. Callum Smith v Rabrasi, Callum Smith v Mohammedi, Callum Smith v Fielding, Liam Smith v Thompson. Come on, fuck, Thompson's absolutely fucking trash. I'd probably say Ochieng, and he's even worse. He's lost about his last fucking 4. Crolla v Murray, Quigg v Monroe, and Stephen Smith v Buckland. That's the top 10 fucking wins they've got. That's absolutely fucking abysmal. No. Joe Gallagher, he's fucking rotten. And I hope people see this year. I hope we don't get to... I hope by the end of the year, look, Liam Smith lost, Callum Smith lost, and fucking the surgeon. The surgeon is absolutely fucking balls, man. He lost twice to Dodd. I don't even want to get started with him because his dad's a bit of a fucking screwball, isn't he? But the guy's an absolute myth. He went on that 52-0 like win streak, and he had it on like some whiteboard like for people to walk into. And like I've seen people saying, why does Joe Gallagher get so much shit? He gets so much shit because all he does is badmouth other people. He shits on other trainers. I don't know why he has to like make it a rivalry between him and somebody else. It's got nothing to do with a trainer. I don't even want to see a trainer. I don't give a fuck what a trainer's got to say. I do not fucking care. I can remember like Joe Gallagher saying that like somebody saying that I spoke to Joe Gallagher why he feels he needs to do interviews, and this is word for word what Joe Gallagher said. I don't feel like trainers get the recognition they deserve. They're the people that are training these fighters to become what they are, and I feel as if they should get more of the limelight. They shouldn't be just in the background, like just training a fighter, like picking up their wage. They should basically be getting more of the fucking shine than they actually do. And I don't know whether he's maybe like kind of seen with Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach turned into like some celebrity like trainer, but he's absolutely fucking abysmal. And I want this to catch on. I want these guys to lose this year for him to fuck off. Quigg's finally cottoned on it. Apparently, Quigg just says that he's took that amount of fighters on, that he's not got personal one time with other guys, which might be detrimental to other people, other fighters. If you're not fucking training with that person all the time, you're only getting like the odd couple of hours because he's got so many fighters. It's not going to work. But regardless of that, he's not a good trainer in the first place for people to go to him. And I think Hearn only works with certain trainers, which is why Ricky Burns is with Sins, not because like Big Fat Billy Nelson was shite, because Billy Nelson got him there in the first place. Hearn will only work with certain trainers. So basically, like the boxers are maybe going there, so they've got the opportunity to maybe get on Sky. It's not because he's that fucking good. As you say, the resume he's got is absolutely fucking shocking. I would say Crolla is the only success out of his like fucking stable. I will not call Liam Smith a world champion. I will never fucking call him that. Never. He ducked Andrade. He ducked him. Waited for him to get fucking stripped. Fought two of the worst guys I've ever seen in my fucking life. That Kelly is absolutely fucking tragic, man. What a specky bastard he is. And that Thompson's fucking rubbish. And the best it was to, man, he was out boxing him for ages.
Yeah, Thompson was winning that fight.
Jimmy Kelly won rounds off him as well.
Jimmy Kelly won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
It's just, it's an actual joke. And like, can you remember? I'm not going to lie. Like, I hate Hearn. So anytime like they hype somebody up, I go against them from the very beginning. And I done that with Callum Smith, and and people were so dead set that this guy was like, oh man, they were making him out to be the body snatcher, and I stuck to my guns. And probably because I do hate him, I just kept at it. But I'm saying he's a tall, spotty Scotty Quigg. He has absolutely no fucking head movement. He doesn't have a jab, and he doesn't know how to cut off the ring. He needs a guy to be right in front of him to tee off on him for that left hook to the body. Don't get me wrong, Cam Smith's left hook is fucking tremendous. It really, really is. He's bodied a couple of people, right? But that's what MD with a bit of movement would make him look like a cunt. De Gale would absolutely embarrass him. And we know De Gale only likes to fight for 6 rounds. So, Paul Smith beat something. Paul Smith has not beat any cunt bar British level. Not one fucking person. Stephen Smith actually thinks the best fighter in that stable. That full fucking stable. I think Stephen Smith's the best guy. He's at least been competitive with world class fighters. Like that. But it would just be good if like you woke up tomorrow, you stick on Sky Sports News or even go down to listen to Talk Sport because you like to go to work in a bad mood, and they're like, there's been a fire at Matchroom HQ, and you're like, fuck man, oh that's fucking terrible, what is it? And they're like, Eddie Hearn and fucking Joe Gallagher have been burnt alive, and you're like, that's meant it, and you're like, I need to go for a shower so I can have a wank because you don't want to go to work pure sticky, so then you just masturbate into a fucking coma because they two are dead. That's all I want. That's all I asked for. I'm sure you're the exact same.
Why would they be together in Matchroom HQ?
Yeah. What's the scenario?
Well, fucking Big T-Bo says that Hearn's been shagging about, hasn't he? So maybe he's shagging Joe Gallagher.
Dogs.
And dogs, aye. Well, maybe,
Yeah, that
Hearn
could be why Hearn might have a couple of nice Labradors that Joe has a go on every now and then.
I mean, I think Hearn's an absolute cunt. When they put it past him, we have like fucking like illegal dog fighting fucking places and that, and he's right in about it. And Joe Gallagher just down there when the ones are wounded and just fucking absolutely puts all his body weight pounds away at their arse.
Right, move on to Golovkin now because you're going down you're going into a dark and sinister place.
Right, I had my scorecard was 115, 112. What's it? I 115, 112 to Golovkin. And then I watched that again, and I should have had it a bit wider. I don't get where people can actually give fucking Jacobs 6, even 7 rounds to win that fight. Right? I gave Jacobs a pity round, and I just feel as if it's a case of, I can't remember the fight before where somebody done better. Not basically Kovalev Ward. See, like when Kovalev get fucking like knocked in Ward, people started scoring rounds to Ward just because he wasn't doing as badly as he done in previous rounds, and it's not as if he was doing better than Kovalev. It's just that he wasn't doing as badly, and they started giving him rounds for it. And this is the exact same. Just because Jacobs was doing better than everybody thought, I thought Jacobs would get absolutely knocked clean out in a few rounds. And see, because he didn't, people fucking start thinking, oh, that's great. That's great. He's actually doing better. He's outboxing Golovkin, which he fucking clearly wasn't. I find it weird that some people that slag like other boxers for like running doesn't slag Jacobs for that, because Jacobs didn't want to initiate most of that fight either. He was quite happy with like maybe throwing a jab, and his jab was fucking nice. Quite happy like throwing a jab, like moving about, odd flurry, and I don't go with the fact that like people are marked up at the end of fights, but it's actually telling that a fully blown middleweight who was in the ring, weighing like a cruiserweight, didn't he fucking mark up Golovkin one bit, and Brook could easily do that. So I don't know. Would they just have that scorecard? Because for the life of me, I can't tell why any cunt fucking actually gave Jacobs that fight.
I had it to him. I can't remember my scorecard. I can't remember 115, 113, 115, 112, something like that. I had it to Golovkin. I think it's okay to criticise Golovkin because what I can remember,
you fucking started it now, Bright. He'll be raging now.
I think in the sense that, let's be fair, I don't think he went to the body once in the first few rounds. He was just pretty much jab. He didn't put many punches together. He kind of looked bored to me. He was kind of just wandering around the ring. He kind of looked disinterested. I think it's okay to say, look, he didn't perform to the level he did. I don't know how anyone would score that to Jacobs at all. I thought Golovkin was the winner. It was what it was. But I do think that Golovkin should be criticised because I don't think it was what Danny Jacobs did as much. It was more what Golovkin didn't do. And all he did was just the same thing every single round, jab. And to be fair, that's all he needed to do. But I would have liked to have seen a bit more variation from him and put some shots together a bit more and stay in the pocket and throw combinations. But Jacobs did well. But there's no way he won that fight.
No, I find with Golovkin though that we all know the type of style of fighter I like. I'll go on about a jab all the time. See if that was a black fighter that was just constantly using a jab. They would make more out of that, and it would be appreciated more. I mean, we had Seb on the Boxing Asylum talking about fucking Ward's jab for about 3 weeks, solid, for just 3 weeks. Just on that podcast himself, talking about a spear jab and a fucking left jab and fucking up jab.
Up jab.
Right.
What the fuck is an up jab?
No one knows.
Fuck knows, man.
Stewie, you scored it to Jacobs, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
As did I.
I thought Golovkin,
Yeah.
not like himself at all. I couldn't believe the way the fight was unfolding. I think Jacobs deserves more credit than Brian's given him. And what baffled me the most was that he's not a natural mover, and he was able to outbox Golovkin. And you could say he wasn't throwing shots or not, but it doesn't matter if he's running and not landing shots, because Golovkin isn't landing shots either. And like I said last week, his movement was the first time in a long time we've seen someone on the back foot, and it was voluntary.
You broke up with that last bit. Do you want to just repeat that?
Yeah, I was just Golovkin's first opponent for a long time. When they were on the back foot, it was voluntary. And, you know, usually you see guys on the
robot bastard.
Your line's gone really bad, mate. We can't hear what you're saying.
You Welsh cunt.
Here's a question for you guys, then. Is there a bit of a blueprint to beating Golovkin in the sense that, you know, a good jab, don't let yourself get fixed on the ropes, because anytime Jacobs' back touched the ropes, he sprung off them. A bit of movement, and also sometimes you're better off being closer to him. You know, you stand at mid-range against Golovkin, you'll get absolutely murdered. But you stand a bit closer, you take the leverage away, you will get success. Is there a bit of a blueprint there to how you can have success against him?
I say the only guy that's going to be able to beat like Golovkin is somebody that's got power of their own and he's got a fucking superb inside game. And I've always said that. I've always said that Ward would have beat Golovkin, and I think Ward would have absolutely fucking. It wouldn't have annihilated him, but it would have been a terrible fight because Ward would have just held all night. But Ward's really good on the inside. People maybe don't give him enough credit for that, but
I'll give him credit. Don't worry about that.
But I can't remember. It was Wade, wasn't it? Wade basically just stayed in the pocket and fucking traded a bit with him, and he was getting more success being up close with him than he was like fighting at range, because Golovkin's a fucking superb amateur boxer. Of course he's going to know how to fucking throw a jab. And if your jab's as good as Golovkin's, you don't really need to do nothing else. But the thing is with Golovkin, see, because he doesn't knock some down, people say it's a bad performance. I mean, Asylum and absolutely fucking radio rental on him because of the way he fought with Lemieux. And again, I'll go with the racial element. See, if that was a black fighter that was able to find other ways than the only way to win a fight, they're like, oh, he's got so many strings to his bow. Like, people that's going to get in the ring with him will not know if he's just going to go there to knock you out or he's going to outbox you. You know what?
Here's another question. Sorry to cut you off. Does anyone give Billy Joe more of a chance now, having seen that?
No.
Golovkin.
No.
I think he gets beat, but I think he can make it a good fight for 6 rounds.
I don't, basically because he's fought nobody in about a year and a half.
Yeah,
I think Saunders is sort of like stay active. Really needs to stay active. I think if that fight happens, and I says I don't want to ever make predictions again because of Hey Bellew. I've been shot to shab since then. Yeah. But I feel as if like Golovkin could absolutely fucking waste Saunders in about 6 rounds. Not because I think that Saunders is worse than any of Golovkin's fought. I just think that his level of opponent that he fought last time out was shit, and he's been inactive really for the best part of about a year and a half or something like that, and that's no good for somebody like that. It's going to blow up weight all the time. And like, I know he's got a strength and conditioning coach and things like that now, but you need to keep having that. It's no good having like one of them just for one fucking fight. Your body doesn't adjust to it that way, and he did blow. He has blown up weight again. So no, and I did say that Saunders. I say Saunders would have beat Canelo last year. I say Saunders would have beat Canelo, but not with inactivity, no. But I'll still go to the fucking fight if it's in Kazakhstan. Oh, you're fucking right. Next big pod will be going to Kazakhstan. But I don't know how Andy had the fight to Jacobs, but with regards to the Chocolatito fight, I have absolutely no problem with his scorecards. Absolutely no fucking problem whatsoever with him. And I don't get the people were going crazy saying it was a robbery and see when I watched it, and then they started booing that ching ching chingadong dong.
Shotgun
bang bang wacky.
Aye, Tabaki. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck are you booing it for? I was like, these scorecards were as tight as fuck, and I had it 1-1-4, 1-1-2 to Sting Chang Ting to Bong Bong. And then there's 2 scorecards with the same one in a draw. I had absolutely fucking problem with it. I mean, I keep telling people I don't score fights for like the style of fighter that I actually like. I just score fights the way I see them. And that guy was landing the heavier punches, and maybe Gonzalez was landing maybe say like 3 extra punches and that, but they weren't doing nothing to the guy. And at any time that guy fucking absolutely hurt Roman flush, it looks as if he was hurting him.
Am I the only person that doesn't want to see a rematch of those two? Because I know it's a bit gay, but I thought that was every single time that Thai fellow hit Gonzalez, it looked like he hurt him. And I just think over 12 rounds, that was fairly brutal. And I know it was an exciting fight, but I'd be happy not to see a rematch because I was kind of wincing at times during that fight. Because, Gonzalez was hitting him with 4 or 5 shots, nice combos, but I never thought that the old Shotgun Dave was hurt at all. He just seemed to when he backed off, he was like, fuck me, this little prick won't go away. And every time he nailed him with a shot, it hurt him. I was kind of thinking...
Yeah, he was like an annoying fly, wasn't he? Just being swatted away.
Yeah, that time.
I know what...
Fuck off.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you. Because I think it'd be the same outcome again. Unless Chocolatito can do him on points, but that's the way he's going to win.
Point as well that I think Gonzalez has got to a stage where people don't want to see him lose. I know you've got like a kind of twisted people like Ainsley who probably wanted to see him have a stroke in the ring or something like that. But he's got that far, and the fact that he's so entertaining to watch, his resume is fucking dynamite. You've got to a stage where you don't want to see him lose, and because that was a really, really tough fight. People had the fight of the year. I don't know. Maybe because of some of the fucking right good wars that we've had the last couple of years, maybe my standards are a wee bit higher. But you didn't. I know I was trolling people and saying like the Mayweather curse and all that. He took his loss, but a wee bit of me fucking felt like shite that he actually lost because the guys went up. The guys in a weight division he should clearly not be in, and I know people I know the kind of the Mayweather fans will think that's fucking amazing because they're like, oh, who's this wee midget we see doing pound for pound #1? But this guy's fucking taking serious risks. It's not as if like he's going up in weights and he's fucking fighting like Guerrero and fucking Victor Ortiz and cunts. He's fighting actually the top guys in the division now. I'm not going to kid on. I actually know this person that he fought at the weekend. I had never fucking seen him fight, but the fact that I watched him and he went toe to toe with Gonzalez, I obviously knew that he was a really good fucking fighter.
I just hope that his handlers, Gonzalez, I don't know how much money he's made. I'm assuming it's not a shitload, but I don't know how much he gets from his own. They need to look after him now because if he's, I don't know, great to look about the midgets, but if he's coming towards the end of his career and it's about cashing him out, they've got to be careful that they don't actually hurt him because he looked way out of his depth in terms of just like strength and weight wise against old Shotgun Dave. So you can't. I think they're going to probably make the rematch, and they're still going to probably look for the Inoue fight. But you can't. I'm kind of worried that Gonzalez might end up getting hurt if he carries on at this kind of weight because he just looked too small for it.
Well, the sign was it was on the wall from the Quadras fight when he took a beating in that, but managed to win. And this one was more brutal again.
And then they're taking a lot of shots as well. They're taking like flush shots to the head. Like I can't remember. I read the punch stats. And I was like, fucking hell. It's like 250 punches or something straight to his fucking head. That's not good, especially from a guy that much bigger and stronger than him. Fuck that.
Has anyone else got anything else to say? We're pretty much done.
Is Drew here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's back, yeah.
What do you want?
Oh, we're fucking talking. You know, fucking listening.
Yeah, but I thought we were done on Gonzalez.
Aye, I just wanted your final opinion, you ball bag.
Have you watched it yet?
Yeah, I watched it last week. It's one of those, isn't it? Like Gonzalez, we were told was dead after flyweight. They said that I think it was the Valoria fight. He really struggled, and he was spitting into a bucket to make weight at the weigh-in. But he does look like he's lost a lot of his advantages as Superfly, which is remarkable, considering it's only 3 pounds heavier. But I suppose the smaller fellas feel it more because it's a bigger percentage of their body weight. Like Brian kind of said, I wouldn't like to see him lose again. I'd like to see him maybe win a title back, whether that be a rematch or another champion. I imagine he'll probably win the rematch because he was so close to winning it. Even though I think the scorecards were fair, he'll surely convince himself that he deserved to win when he has people like HBO telling him that he did. So we might see the rematch. It's a tough fight, isn't it? I wouldn't like to see him lose again, but I would like to see him maybe win one more time.
Baby, hit me one more. Joe Gallagher shags dogs.
Is that us done?
Aye.
Is that us finished?
Brian, you done? Yeah, we're done, and we got nothing else to say.
Is there no boxing on at the weekend?
Come up this
Yeah,
weekend.
Huck Braid is in it, but we haven't got a cruiserweight correspondent, Ainsley, on, so I don't know if you want to go into any detail on it. And you're not a fan of Huck, are you?
Who, me?
No,
I hate
Brian.
Huck. I absolutely fucking hate him.
Because he doesn't like entertaining white fighters, does he? If Huck was black, Brian would be all over his ball sack.
What do? It just can't evade the fucking punch, man. It just
You're the reverse racist, you are. You hate white people and love blacks.
In fact, I'm the. What are you talking about, man? All I do is fucking argue with people over Golovkin.
Yeah, I suppose he's the exception to the rule.
No, it's how you know I fucking love my man Usyk. I'm right down with fucking Usyk, man. He is
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
He has one white fucker. But I don't get it. I know people are always an entertaining fights, and maybe it is. I can't watch a fight that just seems to be the same round over and over, and that's all it is. When it's like a fucking Iron Man contest with him. Hit me once, I'll hit you once. Hit me once, I'll win. I didn't even enjoy his fight with Golovkin. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's fight of the year," and I watched that. I was like, "This is fucking awful." I was like, the only good round that I really liked was the round that he got stopped in it, and he could take a fucking punch. And I was the only person that was like defending like Hawk after this. Everybody says he was fucking finished, and I was like, no, he's no. I was like, he was winning that fight at an absolute canter. It was a hard fight, but he was winning it. He was fucking clearly far up near the judges' scorecards. He just got hot with an absolute fucking Hail Mary, and he just couldn't recover for it. And I would have picked him to fucking beat Golovkin if he got the rematch. But no, I'm not particularly a lover of him. I'll show. Who was the Cuban guy? No, the Cuban. Was it Hernandez?
Yeah.
I liked him. It's just what I like. I can't help what I like. Like Rocco can't help pumping fucking wee boys. I can't help it. You like what you like, innit? So I really like fucking Usyk because I think he's a mix. And I like fucking power punchers. I really like Golovkin. I like Roman Gonzalez. Like fucking, you know what I mean? L. Spence. That's a hipster pick. That L. Spence. Fucking ignore that, man. That's just pure bent. But I like boxers. I do. I mean, look at that Charlo fight against Williams. How good was that? It was a mixture. I like boxer punchers. See if you could give me some kind of fucking boxes, but he carries a bit of power, man. I will chug the fucking life out it. I will. But Huck, no. I don't even know much about this Bradis. I know people are fucking absolutely chugging their brains out over him, but
he's fucking
who's he
gaff.
really beat? Who's he really beat?
Manuel.
Did he beat that daughter cost fella?
He beat Duralove, was it, or someone? Was it him he beat?
He beat Manuel Char, didn't he? Which that was the first time a lot of people knew of him.
Who was the one that folded fucking Big Enzo in half?
Everyone.
Was that Brady?
Hey. Sorry.
No, that was Kucha.
See, I can't tell the difference. They're all just big white spazzy bastards.
I do know didn't he?
Yeah, he did beat Doradola.
And who's that? Doradola, the guy that knocked out the fucking Russian Hammer?
Yeah. Him.
That Russian Hammer's a bum and all. You know what? Fuck it, I'm going for Huck. I'm picking Huck to win this at the weekend. He's going to fucking tough this shit out. Because you know what? Bradis seems to be the hipsters picking all that. Oh, Bradis this, Bradis that. Bradis with a fucked up belly. Well, I tell you what. Fucking next big pod's Belu is fucking running the show these days. Pound for pound, fucking #1. Woo! My man.
Interestingly, Brian, you can get nearly 2-1 on Marco Hunt to win.
I don't gamble anymore, my man. I gave it up. I don't smoke, I don't drink, don't take drugs, I don't shag. I live a clean motherfucking life.
You're giving your life to God.
Giving my life to God until I go to Kazakhstan where I can meet Luba, lovely prostitute we've already set up. Glorious. Wee blonde number 2, tight figure, perky boobs. Compliments. And that's
You need to see the facial expression that he's doing when he says that to get the full effect of it. The seedy look in his eyes.
absolutely serious. That's why I'm back in training camp, so I can get like maybe an extra inch, like fucking, so she doesn't think I'm a snide ride.
You need to sort out that fucking Lego comb over haircut you're on.
Look, mate, at least I show my face.
Oh,
you're just too ashamed. You probably get one of these big fucking pirate noses, not because you're Greek.
no, I imagine him to look like Terry, which ain't a compliment, but.
What are you talking about? That's me in the picture.
No,
the bad thing is, I look at that picture sometimes and actually think it is you. And I'm just like, fuck man, he's an alright good looking cunt.
That is me, you fucking bellend.
How you fucking slag. Right, so is that us then?
Is that actually you?
Yeah, that's us done.
Joe?
Sorry?
Is that actually you?
Yeah.
Are you like telling lies?
No.
Okay.
No wonder the English dominate you, fuckers. That's Johnny Depp.
No,
yeah,
mate.
that's Johnny Depp.
No, that's me, mate. Straight up and down.
Nah.
That's me.
I don't believe you.
Good looking cunt, you know. That was a few years ago.
Nah, that ain't you.
Now I'm a bit fatter, greyer.
Well, I'd just like to say before I go, he's got rest in peace, Matt McGuinness, and up the fucking rat.
We can't top that.
And I hope Joe Gallagher fucking gets done with the SSPCA. Peace.